Time to leave the work behind, isn't it? Go out there and see what we can find on the trail. I've thrown a few small branches off the trail, but I expect there to be a lot more down with the way that blast of probably a 65 to 75 mile an hour wind came through here the other day as that storm front moved through. That tree ahead, that was already leaning over like that. But I'm sure down the road we'll find some more big ones down. I walk along, I think of some of the crazy projects of the past, like hauling all the beavers that killed a lot of cedar trees not too far away, and I took some of the big pieces to make some lumber out of, and the smaller ends I hauled over here and laid down this corduroy road a long time ago now, but it sure made it nice. I think there's a lot less of this going on nowadays, but this whole idea of letting balloons up in the air in mass quantities for celebrations, problem is they come down someplace. In this case, right on my beautiful wilderness trail. This part of the trail it took some work, but what happened was when the beavers were out here and they had this dam brimming full to the top, they'd come out every night and they wanted to raise the level a little bit, so they'd be pushing mud up on top, and I would come along each day after their night's work, and with my boot I'd kick off the big logs they stuck on there, and I'd smooth the mud out smoother and smoother and make it wider on top, kind of like spreading frosting around. And over a period of time, well, the beavers finally left, and when it was all done, I had a nice, wide, smooth hiking trail on top. So, just one of those long-range trail plans that worked out well. Because it's a cedar bog to the north and all cedar bog to the south, this high beaver dam trail ends up being the travel way for a lot of wildlife. I've learned over the years, and so that's why I got my favorite trail cam down here, and every time I go by I like to check it, see what's happened. Nothing new to add this time. Last film on there's the big butted bear. I didn't realize when I went under that tree to review that camera that I was right underneath a really good widowmaker, barely hanging on up there. Must have come down in the storm. This is part of the old plank that the old timers used to get across this wet spot. We're talking almost 100 years ago now. Still have hopes of getting that rock moved sometime up to put underneath that new cabin, but I don't know. They're pretty big. I may need some help. Even if it had frosted last night, I see the raspberries haven't come anywhere near the blooming yet. They're here next to this dogwood that you can see how the deer have browsed off the tops of it, and it kind of helps keep my trails clear. Nice there was no frost last night. These are cherry trees. Put out a lot of fruit. Bears come by later in the year and kind of pull that over and clean the cherries off. That's why it's probably kind of a bend in the tree. Sometimes they break off, but usually they can get them down and just get their meal. Oh, a lot of years ago now, I cleared this whole area. See, the huge pile of old wood still hasn't rotted away in there, but Then I come in and I keep the balsam trees like this little evergreen there out, and then all this beaked hazelnut, birch, and the maple brushes come in really nice for wintertime deer food. Another one of my future cabin rocks awaiting transport. These are some of the rocks I came up early January and hoped to get on the sled and get them hauled out of here, but they were froze down so much that I couldn't move them. When I first put them there, I had them put up on some sticks and little stones so they couldn't freeze in, but I got to redo that if I want to try it next winter. I knew I'd have to find a lot of this after the way that wind whipped through here the other night, but fortunately I'm up close to the Corduroy Bridge, and this is the first blockage that I've come across. Could be a lot worse. I'm glad I brought my boots because I can see the beavers still got the water's messed up here by the Corduroy Bridge. I didn't think there was all that much food up there to that side, but they must be finding something to eat. It's always interesting when you get forced off the trail. You know, we walk the trail all the time, and here I just step off to the side a little bit and hear these really ancient old white cedars standing out here, growing down in the bog like this. These trees have to be a few hundred years old. Old cedars, even when they go down, they really never die. They just put some more roots down from the trunk, and they'll have a part of the tree like this will reach out and be growing green and lush up there. Probably continue on for another century. Now I'm back up on the Corduroy Road. Looks like this little piece in here is finally kind of rotted away and fallen through. But it's been here, you know, for over a century. Then we get up here, and I've always really liked this because I need to get the brush cut off it, but this is what I call the Corduroy Bridge. Got timbers underneath and the cedar logs laid across, and where the stream comes down through. And this is where I found an old mason jar here one time, where I'm sure that the settlers had it there because when they walked by they could dip down and get a nice cold drink any time of the year. Where most of the times, I'm sure back in the 1930s, everything else was dried up here. I'm back in here now in the area above the Corduroy Bridge where I thought the beavers would be working and have some water backed up in here, but I can see down there the stream looks like it's just flowing normal. So maybe if I go in and break up that old dam and flow back to normal, I'll have a dry trail again, because I don't think they're going to be here to rebuild. I knew there wasn't much food up here, that's why I was surprised it came in the first place. I think I'll take a walk over and check out the spring while I'm here. This sign marks the trailhead, but the bears kept breaking it off the tree so many times I quit putting it up. So it marks the trail, though I know where to go. Oh, as I'm going along, down here on the ground, spot a little color. My first calypso of the spring. Well fertilized, I see. Trying to find the spring, I was having a little bit of trouble until I realized that the storm brought down that medium-sized cedar tree. Kind of had my water spot covered up, but I see it's flowing sweet and pure. Marsh marigolds have made an appearance, dotted through all these little wet spots too. I've always really enjoyed the quiet of these mature cedar swamps. There was enough ground here, the trees grew fairly straight. I think as we look down that little opening there, I think that's probably where the early settlers brought their horses, teams, little trucks or whatever over here and got some water from this spring, because the way the groundwater drops away, all the little surface wells they had, like I have at my cabin, would have gone dry. And this would have been the water source. Gary Hawkins in 1947 to 1995. Good buddy. It's hard to believe he's been gone for 30 years. Still got the good memories. I thought maybe the beavers would have moved back over here to Hawks Pond. A lot of brush way out there in the edge and things like that, and the willows are coming back, but I don't see any sign at all that they've been here. Fortunately, the pond in front of the dam is deep enough that they're in good shape for water. As I stand around or sit at this spot, little clearing I made a long time ago, I think it goes all the way back to probably video number 5, and I was potting up wood in those piles and getting the dead balsam cut out of here. I came back once or twice in between and whacked up some of the balsam trees growing to keep the favorable or the good eating brush growing, like the maple here or the seed bearing of the beaked hazelnut there. I thought it was rather cool out there at times. The thermometer said it's still 41 degrees, so it may very well have been a few snow pellets hit me in the face here as I finished up. Well, really enjoyed that hike. I hope you did too. And now I'm going to go in and return to cabin life, get some sausages cooking for lunch. And I think I'm just gonna, if you want to pour another cup, I'm going to put about 5 more minutes of those Trumpeter Swans out on Hawks Pond. And just, if you got the time, Enjoy that piece.
Mm.